right, welcome everyone. I'm Jean Camo, Executive Director of LOWLINC, and I'm so glad to see everybody here, those of you who managed to dig your way out of your driveways. And we're lucky to have our videographer volunteer here recording so that people at home can watch this later. So anyway, yeah, so we're really excited about our program today. I know that I'm looking at doing some home modifications just to be ready for the next phase of my life, and I know I've had family members staying with me that could have benefited from some modifications in the past. So before we get started though, I just wanted to share a little bit about some things coming up. But first, again, welcoming everybody. So can we just, by a show of hands, how many people are LOWLINC members? All right, how about volunteers? Some of you are raising your hand twice. How many people are guests? All right, well, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Yes, I present. So we have a lot of great things coming up. Again, now that we've gotten past January, still digging out a little bit in February, but I wanted to highlight a couple of those. First of all, some of you have heard about this, and I think some in the room are already participating. We have our Encore Broadway LOWLINC Locust Grove Singing Group. It's just started. They've already had one rehearsal, but it's not too late to join. We'd love to have you. There's no auditions. And Encore is a nonprofit who promotes creativity for older adults, that's 55 plus, and through singing. And so we have a lot of fun. Our director is a music educator, and so she makes that a lot of fun and helps us all learn how to sing in 4-part harmony. And then we have a wonderful performance at the end. In December, we had about 100 people together with the singers at the performance, so it was a lot of fun. So if you like to sing, please think about joining this. We have the Aging Together resource guide on the back table. Please pick one up. There's plenty of copies, so it's filled with lots of great information about resources in our community. And always, you can visit our website, www.lowlinc.org, to learn more about our programs, and you can email us at info@lowlinc.org if you have questions. So we are also looking forward to having a speaker series coming up next month. It's all about taste and the chemistry of taste. So why do you get those cravings? Why do you want potato chips? And also some, learning about some interesting taste combinations. So I hope you'll come back for that too. These presentations are always open to the community, so invite your friends, and first Thursday of the month, 1:30 to 3, right here. So what else? Are there any other events coming up? Well, we have our Ready or Not program just about to launch in March, and the Ready or Not program is 5 months long. A group of 6 to 8 people meet with a facilitator to go through a workbook. And it's to go through those topics that, ready or not, they're coming, but to help us prepare for the next phase in our lives, and just, answer some of those questions that will help us make decisions, so that we're as prepared as we can be for the coming stages. So, Jane, I'm going to ask you, is there anything else that I should be talking about as far as events coming up?
Not this week. Next week's the normal bingo, dinner at the clubhouse, puzzles.
Right. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, we have all kinds of social activities, and you can go to our calendar online and find out about the puzzles, the coloring, the arts and crafts, the trips on the minibus, all kinds of things. So hope you'll join us. Okay, so I also wanted to give a shout out to the Health and Wellness team. They're the ones that host this every month. And they do a lot of planning and a lot of work behind the scenes, so thank you to them. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our presenter, which we're very excited to have. The Disability Resource Center is just a fabulous resource in our community, and I'm so glad to be connected with them. And I've seen, some of the work, or heard about some of the work that they've done, and so we're really glad to have them. And so Sam Davis, and I'm going to have to read her title. It is Home Modification Program Manager. So she's the one that knows the answers. So
I'd like to think so. I hope so.
So welcome, Sam, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I love a small group where it feels like a bit more of a conversation than, me lecturing at you. So hope there's something to take away for everybody today. Thank you for introducing me. My name is Samantha, go by Sam, but honestly, whichever is easier for you to remember is fine. And this is a new title at the Disability Resource Center, the Home Modification Program Manager. I've been with the Disability Resource Center since April of 2025, so it's relatively new. And one of the reasons for this new position was that we were awarded a federal grant from Housing and Urban Development to specifically serve older adults with home modification. It's called the Older Adult Home Modification Program. So I do want to speak specifically with you about that today, but also want to share some info about the Disability Resource Center, who we are and what we're about, to speak a little bit on fall prevention and home safety, and to answer any questions that you might have. So again, thank you so much for coming out. I hope it was a safe trip down your driveway to get to your car. And I do think with the recent weather, accessibility has come to the front of a lot of people's minds. Not being able to get out of your house because it's not safe for you really makes you feel trapped in a lot of ways. I just talked to my mom on the way here and she said, I'm losing my mind, Sam. They live out in the country and have a long driveway, and she's in her 70s and knows it's not safe for me to be walking on the ice at all. If I have one bad fall, it could mean the end of a lot of my freedom. So anyways, that's just a little intro. So again, want to talk to you today about fall prevention, support for independent living, which can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but we'll get through our slides here. So Centers for Independent Living, we are one of 17 centers for independent living in the state of Virginia. I think there's about 450 of us nationwide. An important thing about Centers for Independent Living is that they all can look different. There are some core services that they all offer, but Centers for Independent Living are really there to reflect the needs of their community. And what that specific community needs in terms of support and resources. So our mission is to empower individuals with disabilities to live independently and participate fully in community life. I do want to side note here because I have had a lot of folks I've gone to meet with about home mods, and I ask them, or I mention disability, and they say, oh, I don't have a disability. Like, you can't help me because I don't have a disability. And disability isn't a bad word. It can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but part of aging is that you will age into disability. Inevitably, as we age, there will be, whether it's hearing loss or vision loss, loss of balance, any number of things. Those are all things that qualify as a disability, but might not be something that you personally identify with, and that's okay. But wanted to mention that because I'll start on my spiels with folks and I can see them zoning out because they're like, well, I don't need disability services. I'm not someone with a disability. So just wanted to mention that. Our service area, we're based in the city of Fredericksburg and the counties of Spotsy, Stafford, King George, and Caroline County. And more recently are able to serve Lower PD9. So we're really happy to be in Orange County. I'm a resident of Orange County, so it means a lot to me to be able to offer our services to folks there. So it's a big area, right? So being able to come in person to speak with you all is important. Our approach is consumer-directed services. So as I mentioned, consumer-directed just means that you tell me what it is that you need. We're here to serve the community. Like I mentioned, Centers for Independent Living are specific to their own community, and we want it to reflect the community's desires. So we do offer 5 core services. And again, these can look different depending on where you're at, but independent living skills, individual and systems advocacy, and peer support are 3 of them. Independent living skills training can look different. Any number of things: personal care, household management, communication, transportation skills. If someone needs help with, when I see financial management and budgeting, my mind for some reason goes to navigating insurance and Social Security and things like that. So, and that can be someone who's been on Social Security for a long time and has questions about it, or someone who's new to disability and is trying to get services through social service. Individual and systems advocacy, so part of what we do, we've got a few staff members today are in Richmond at the legislature talking about budget amendments and things. So that's part of our role as well, to make sure that communities we serve have the resources they need. And peer support. So an important piece of what Centers for Independent Living are is that 50% of our staff and 50% of our board are folks with disabilities. So it's you know, there's a lot of things where you've got somebody telling me, I mean, I'm talking to you about aging in place and I'm not 62 years or older. So, but we do reflect back, you know, what we're trying to do. So we can offer support groups, role modeling, encouragement. Peer-to-peer support is a really important piece of what we do, especially for folks that are new to disability. So that's 3 of our 5. The other are transition services. So this can be someone who's been living in a nursing home or institution who's trying to get back to their home or to a new place to live. It can also be more so what Disability Resource Center does is youth transition. So that's kids that have been getting a lot of support while they're in school, and then they turn 18 and they kind of age out of getting these direct services through the school system. So that's a big piece of what we're currently doing. Information and referral is another big one. So it's in our name, Resource Center. And that's what we want to provide is we might not be able to directly help you with something, but we are there to connect you with the resources that you need to answer your questions or get the help that you might need with any given thing. Additional programs is where I'm going to fall in. You can see I don't know why I'm the last bullet point on here, but has anyone heard of our Equipment Connection program? Oh, we're failing if you guys haven't heard about Equipment Connection. A lot of folks I talk to are like, oh yeah, I've gotten a cane or a walker from Equipment Connection. I didn't know they had anything to do with Disability Resource Center. So Equipment Connection is a durable medical equipment. It's free for people to go and pick up items that they need, mobility aids. We've got hospital beds there, all kinds of things. So a lot of times people don't need those things to keep forever. They just need them temporarily while they're recovering from surgery and things. And if any of you have purchased any of that durable medical equipment, it is not cheap and can be a big burden for folks to get the aid that they need. So Equipment Connection is a really big resource. And I'm going to skip down to home modification services because that's what I care most about selfishly. So home mods are modifying your home to meet your needs, and that's it. We've got 2 different grants that we can help folks out with that I'll speak to you specifically about today. And this is a little bit newer to Disability Resource Center. There's a lot of housing needs, but it does directly support independent living and being able to age in place. Common types of home modifications. Have any of you had any home modifications? Happy to see at least 2 of you. That's a good start. Home modifications can look really different for a lot of different people, but it's modifying the environment that you live in to meet your needs better. So most homes are not built with aging in mind or disability in mind. Even people that have kids and have to get their stroller into the house are struggling carrying that stroller up the stairs. You're like, I live in a 1-level home. And I see that a lot in 55 and up communities where someone moved there specifically to age in place and then find, oh, well, I've got stairs up to my front door. There's no railings. I go in my bathroom. I have to step up into the shower or into a bathtub. These are all barriers to safety. So exterior modifications are definitely a big one as we're thinking about the snow and people being stuck at home. Stairs are I was driving through the neighborhood on my way here and every home I saw has front stairs at their house. And 1 or 2 steps, it seems like that's I can navigate that, it's no big deal, but it's still a barrier, especially if as you start to lose your bounce a little bit more, or when it's icy outside, even 1 or 2 steps can pose a fall risk. And falls are the main reason why people are not able to remain independent in their homes. It just takes one bad fall for you to end up in the hospital or rehab and have a long road to recovery before you're able to get home. So wheelchair ramps are a big one. They're not just for wheelchairs though. Ramps improve accessibility in many different ways. Pathway improvements are things like the railings I mentioned, or even putting down non-skid strips. If you've ever walked on that like black tar-like stuff on a ramp or something, that's to prevent falls. And again, benefits everyone. If someone is a wheelchair user, things like doorway widening or making sure that your thresholds are level. Even I look over here and the barrier between the carpet and the tile, there's a little bump right there, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's easier than you would think for your toe to hit that in the wrong way and cause a fall. So thresholds are a big one too. Bathroom safety is another really big one. These are all actually equally important. I take back anything I said about them being a big one. So the reason bathrooms are such a high-risk area for falls is there's a shower or a bathtub, there's water, the floor is wet. And regardless of your age or ability, it's a fall risk when you've got a slippery floor. The other factor is that, so you're going from being in a cooler environment to being in a hot shower or bath. You can pass out, get lightheaded from that type of environment. So this is an area where there are modifications that just improve your safety exponentially. Grab bars and safety rails are obviously a big one, but things like a roll-in or a walk-in shower, instead of having a tub where you have to step over the edge of it to get in, and standing on one leg is easier said than done too. Another one that people don't love because it changes your bathroom aesthetically are raised toilet seats or raised toilets. So depending on your need, sometimes a higher toilet is better. If you're a shorty like I am and you're under 5'5", a lower toilet is better. So raised toilets and accessible sinks. An accessible sink is where if you are a wheelchair user, there isn't a cabinet or something that stops you from being able to roll underneath it. So these are all examples of bathroom mods that can be done. Interior access is your whole house pretty much. Widening doorways for wheelchair access. Lever style door handles are another one that a lot of people don't think about, but all of these doors have the lever style handles. So these allow you to not have to have a good grip on something to turn it and open it. I was trying to open my back door today with a slippery hand I just put lotion on, and I couldn't get the door open to save my life. But if I had had a lever style handle, I would have been able to easily get that door open. Accessible kitchen modifications. The biggest thing I've seen in kitchens is that we all have cabinets that are up on the ceiling where you have to reach. You're standing on your tippy toes or you're standing on a stool, which is unsafe in and of itself. I watched my partner fall off a step stool recently and was just like, there has to be a better way to do this. And the step stools don't have anything for you to hold on to. So a lot of times what we can do is, instead of you having to get up to those cabinets, hopefully some of you have seen these, you can pull it out so that the items in the kitchen cabinet come down to you. So there are a lot of products. We're lucky to live in a time where things are advancing. But there's a lot of things you can do in the kitchen too that can make life safer and easier for you. Yes, ma'am?
I've seen in CVS, they have these long poles with a little gripper.
Yeah, the grabbers.
Yeah.
Now the grabbers are good for a lot of things. Getting your laundry out of a dryer or washer that's hard for you to reach or requires you to bend over. But those are not great for things like a can of corn. Depends on the shape of it. And the other risk with the grabbers for things that are high up is that if you do lose the grip on it, it can fall and hit you on the head. But the grabbers are a big one and something that's an easy recommendation to make for people in all different types of homes, but especially for folks that, bending down to pick things up that you could use that grabber for, that's an easy, cheap thing that you can do. So the grabbers are great, but it depends what you're trying to grab out of the cabinet, right? If you're grabbing a box of rice or something, that thing is just too far away from you to have a good grasp on it. Thank you for your question though. You guys please interrupt me at any time if you have a question about something that I'm saying. I love talking about home mods, so that slide took a little bit longer than I thought maybe. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty a little bit with a couple of the different programs that we can offer to help cover the cost of a home modification. Do we have any veterans in the room? Cool, I can skip over that one. So a lot of folks that live in Lake of the Woods are homeowners, so I'll talk specifically about that one. This is a Virginia Housing Accessibility Grant chart with what the requirements are to be able to be eligible for this program. These are grants that people are primarily using to do things like take out a bathtub and put in a walk-in shower, or to get a ramp on the front of their home. But it is also important, side note, to have 2 safe entrances and exits from your house. So sometimes we're helping people make the second entrance or exit to their home more accessible. But ramps and bathroom modifications are the biggest one with this grant. There actually isn't, age matters. They don't ask as many questions if you're a homeowner over 65, but there is an income limit for this grant. You've got to be at or below 80% of the area median income. This number looks different for every county. I'm pretty sure for Orange County, for a 1-person household, it's about $55,000 a year, and for a 2-person household, about $65,000. Now, this is just your monthly income. So for a lot of people, that looks like your Social Security benefits or your retirement annuity, things like that. So what we do is look at what is coming in monthly and then do that calculation for annual income. So that's the first. That might not apply to any of you. I still wanted to make sure to mention it because if you're connected to your community at all, you might know someone that benefits from one of these Virginia housing grants. So these are up to $8,000 to help cover the cost of accessibility modifications.
Could you go over the veterans for our viewers online?
Oh, absolutely. I forgot about you guys out there. Sorry about that. So the Granting Freedom Program is the Virginia Housing Accessibility Grant for veterans that have a service-connected disability. There's no age limit for that, and an important piece for the veterans is that there's no income limit. You do not have to show what your annual income is to be eligible for that grant. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I forgot about you guys out there. The program that is my personal favorite, because we can help folks with it year-round, is our Older Adult Home Modification Program. This is that federal grant that I mentioned. It's a 3-year grant, so we're able to help people out with this program through 2028. So we're just getting started, even though it feels like we've been doing it forever. The purpose of this program is to support safe and independent aging at home. Has everyone heard the term aging in place? Mm-hmm. I hope so. It's some people haven't, but it literally is what it sounds like. Age in place, to stay at home, remain where you are, if that's where you want to be. Some people would prefer to go live in an assisted living facility or live with family, but if home is where you want to be, we want to help you to make that possible as long as we can. So a big piece of this program is that we work with an occupational therapist. Has anyone had an occupational therapist visit their home? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. They are just a wealth of knowledge. I've learned a lot from our occupational therapists during this program. So what we do after we've confirmed eligibility, which is just that you're 62 years of age or older and that you meet that 80% area median income eligibility. Shanika is our occupational therapist, and she comes to your home and does a safety assessment with you. And all that looks like is her having you walk around your home, show her how you go about your activities of daily living. So how do you come in your front door? How are you getting in and out of bed? Can you show me what it looks like when you sit down on the toilet? Mm-hmm. And these are things that you're like, well, I'm doing all of that just fine. But the piece that Shanika brings to it is that she's watching how you go about doing it. One of the big things I've learned from her, it's called furniture walking. Has anyone heard that before? And we all do it. So it's as you're moving about, you're using the things in your environment to help with your stability, to help keep you from tripping over something if there's something on the floor. So furniture walking's a big one. And you see it especially when folks are coming through doorways. A lot of us reach one hand or the other to grab onto the frame of the doorway to help as we're stepping over something or as we're walking onto a floor surface that might be different from the one we're coming from. So Shanika identifies that and says, you know, would a 36-inch grab bar be helpful for you to grab onto? And it's like, well, yeah, that actually would. That makes sense, right? I'm already reaching on to grab onto something, so why don't we put something there that would make it easier for you? So Shanika is very valuable. Our occupational therapist works with folks with home health, so she is the person who will come to your house after you've gotten out of rehab and help you in your home to make sure that you're going about your day in a safe way. So after we do that occupational therapy assessment, we create a project plan. That project plan can include we've encountered all kinds of things, and I'm happy to share specifics with you. This picture that is probably absolutely impossible for you to see from where you're sitting, I can't even read that, and vision is not one of my issues, but it's pointing out a lot of different things in the room that might cause a fall, essentially. One of the big things I do want to make sure to mention, you all, it's like I see it in every single home I visited, and it is a throw rug. A throw rug is beautiful. It's lovely. It makes your home feel warm and inviting. However, it causes a lot of concern in terms of falls. So unless that rug is flush or is somehow attached to the ground with double-sided sticky tape or a rug pad that's sticky, it's so easy for your toe to hit on that, or for you to step on top of it and for it to slip out from underneath you. So part of what Shanika does is just say, it's not even something we're gonna do for you, it's a recommendation of, hey, think about either having no rugs in here, especially in your bathroom, or to replace it with something that poses less of a fall risk. So I also attached to my bathroom rug, but realize that it's not something that I want to keep in there forever. It's not worth it feeling warm and inviting in my bathroom. Your bathroom is meant to be a place where you get business done. You visit it more than any other room in your house, inevitably every day. Everyone's got to do it. So you're frequently in there, and it's just a really high risk area. So other sample modifications are basics like grab rails, railings. Lighting improvements is another big one. Motion sensor lighting is super helpful, especially at night or earlier in the morning when things are dark. And you do, especially if you've been in your home for a while, you know how to navigate all your spaces. A lot of folks who start to lose their vision are able to navigate their home without an issue because you've memorized what that feels like, right? But lighting is a big one that we can do to help to reduce fall risk, and especially making sure surfaces are non-slip. It's a big one. I talked to a participant in the HUD Older Adult Home Mod program. We're doing a bunch of different stuff with her. The contractor is scheduled to go out there. And she called me to let me know she had fallen and ended up in the ER. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, Judy, what happened? Where did you fall? I was so worried. It was in one of the areas that we were gonna be fixing for her. And she said, oh, I had the wrong shoes on. She said, I should have known better. Like, it's just my shoes. I usually wear my house shoes, and I had on a different pair of shoes. And I went to step into a different bedroom, and what do you know? My foot went out from underneath me. So slipping is a big one, and sometimes that's because of the actual environment. Other times it's because of what you've got on your feet. Socks will cause a lot more falls than you think they do. So some other quick and easy home mods. This is whether you can utilize the grant that, and there's the ice taking down an awning. Is that what that was?
He's doing this.
Oh, it's intentional. Okay. I just saw something fall on the ground.
This is a guy you can't see.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That was a little scary.
Yeah, ice is still, well, that means, I hoped it meant that things were melting if there was ice falling, but, so, things that you can do today that would make your home more safe. Again, even if you can't utilize our grant program because you're over that 80% AMI or maybe you're not 62 years old yet, if you do turn 62 in the next 2 years, please still call me. So secure some support is the first thing on here. Buy a shower seat, grab bar, adjustable handheld shower, anything that makes it easier in the bathroom. Just because you're able to do it is what I hear a lot. It's like, oh, I don't have a problem in my shower right now. That doesn't mean that you couldn't make it a better experience for yourself. Does everybody have one of those handheld shower heads? They are not that expensive. It's a pretty easy fix. You might be able to install it yourself or have somebody else come do it for you. And that just allows you that if you do need to sit down while you're showering, or if you've got a bathtub even, that allows you to bring the water down to you instead of having to stand underneath the shower head that's coming down at you. So easy things like that. I will give you a heads up that grab bars in the shower are an easier said than done item. If you have a fiberglass shower, a lot of contractors don't want to drill into those. I advise you against using the suction grab bars. Those are not meant to hold your full body weight. They are meant to help, with your bounce or something, but if you were to start falling, that is not gonna catch you. You're gonna go down and that grab bar is gonna come right off with you. So grab bars in the shower are definitely one that you wanna consult a professional for. And hope, if you're lucky, you've got a tile shower and they're like, yeah, I'll drill through that, no problem. But even if you can't put grab bars in your shower, there's still other things you can do in there, especially putting down. You can get them on Amazon for like $10. They are clear little strips that you put down and it makes the slippery surface not slippery anymore. A lot of folks like to use, I don't even know the proper term for them. I used to have one that I used to bathe my dogs. It's like the bath mat that goes inside of your tub with the suction cups on the bottom of it. And it makes it a little bit cushier, like feels better when you're standing on it or sitting on it. But those can come up and cause a fall. So what you want is something that makes that surface not as slippery, especially if you're standing up to shower. The best thing I can advise people to do is get a shower chair. I know a lot of people don't like the way that they look. It changes kind of the style of your bathroom. But sitting down while you're in that steamy, hot environment is much safer for you than standing up in the shower. A lot of the shower chairs that they offer, if you do have a bathtub, they go across the side of the tub so that you can sit down on the outside and then swing your legs over instead of doing the unsafe, you're holding on to the shower door and doing 1 foot at a time over the edge of the tub. So those are some quick ones for the bathroom. As I mentioned, lighting is a big one. You don't think it makes a difference, but being able to see what's around you easier is going to help prevent falls as well. There's a lot of different types of lighting that don't require an electrician. You can get those motion sensor lights. You can get ones that are battery operated, or you can charge it with a USB. Put them everywhere. I like some mood lighting myself. I have them up under my cabinets in my house and on the floor. So another low cost thing to think about. Have a seat. Oh, I jumped ahead of myself. This is talking specifically about having a chair. The shower chair is a big one, but also a lot of folks, I just met with someone last week. She's got a spare rollator in her kitchen. She's like, that's there so I can take a break while I'm waiting for the water to boil or whatever it is in the kitchen, right? So having somewhere to sit down if you do feel that you're starting to get lightheaded or just take a break for your endurance sake is another big one. Number 4, this is a tough one. Keeping items off stairs, remove clutter, and throw rugs from the floors. It's a big one. I think for older adults especially, you've had a lifetime of things that mean something to you. You're, the same stuff you've had in your house for decades and decades that you don't want to get rid of. My only advice to you is that if it starts to present a danger in the fact that you don't have clear walkways in your house, or you've got, I have it in my house. I have a potted flower plant like on the floor that I should not be where it's at, because if I take a wrong step, I'm going to run into it and could fall from it. So decluttering is a tough topic for folks. A lot of people are very attached to their stuff, understandably so, but I also would like to mention, and my mom doesn't like it when I talk about this, but has anyone ever heard of Swedish death cleaning? Yeah, you're laughing at me. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. It's not something that you have to be close to death to think about, which I think is why people hear the phrase and they just don't want to talk about it or think about it. But for the people that you love, if and when you are gone, you're leaving behind that household of stuff, right? And they're gonna have to figure out what to do with all of it. So to start thinking about those things while you still are able to make conscious decisions about where you want those things to go is just something to think about. It's make sure you are passing on the things that you want specific people you love and care about to have, to make sure it goes to them or that it's donated somewhere. Yes, ma'am.
I just in the last couple of months sent out an email to my daughters and grandchildren and said, okay, I gave them a list of 5 or 6 things. I said, I would like to get rid of these. Do you want any of these? And I got back some interesting
Did you?
answers. Yeah.
And
So.
it means, I think, a lot to your family to know that it's something that you want them to have. And then if, they say, no, I'm good, I don't need that
Yeah.
thing or whatever, then
Yeah.
to go to plan B, right?
Right.
Which is, there's probably someone out there that could use it. Anytime I'm donating to a thrift store, I tell myself, and I'm having a hard time letting go, I tell myself that someone is gonna find that thing one day when they're at the thrift store and it's gonna make their day. They're gonna be like, I'm so excited I got this here today for $1 or whatever it is. So yeah, it's something to think about. The folks whose homes I've been in that are overflowing with things, they're not using their space to its full capacity anymore because those things are starting to hinder their ability to safely move through their space. So I encourage you, anytime someone's starting to nudge you about that kind of thing, to start going through your stuff while you can make the decisions that you want to about it. But reorganizing things in a way that makes them easy for you to access is also really important. We've all got a closet that we know we haven't worn some of the items that are in there, either because they're hard. I've got a closet where I never wear the stuff in the far back because I've got to go get a stool to get up there. It's too high for me. And I don't use them. And I'm just taking up space at this point. So anyways, that was a side note. I'm very sorry. I appreciate you guys tolerating me, but glad you have heard of it. Both my mom and my Nana, I'm very lucky that they had they made a very conscious decision to declutter at a time in their life where they could do it all by themselves for the most part, and also just not have to worry about it anymore. They don't have to worry about where to find stuff. They don't have to worry about making 10 trips to the thrift store or to Goodwill to get some of that stuff out of their way. Because downsizing happens to a lot of folks. It's nothing anyone really wants to deal with, but it's something to think about. Clutter is not worth a fall. If it is in your walkway, put it somewhere else. Even if you don't want to get rid of it, just move it into the garage or something. And then last item, I guess I didn't really need this chart because I've already talked about keeping frequently used items accessible for you. But this is having things up high is just a recipe for disaster usually. So the things that you're using frequently, keep them waist level or below. Or if it's harder for you to bend over than it is for you to reach up a little bit, it's whatever works for you. Accessibility looks different for each person, right? The National Council on Aging is a wonderful organization, by the way, if you're ever interested in learning more about any of this stuff. This is our 6 tips to help prevent falls. These are things you've all probably heard of and thought of, but worth mentioning anyways. Have we heard the statistic? More than 1 in 4 people fall. Have you guys heard that? It's people don't talk about it either. No one, I've had folks who I've gone to do an assessment at their house and I said, do you have any issues getting in and out of the bed? Any falls? And they're like, no, I haven't had any falls. And then she sits in the bed and as she's standing up, she says, well, I did slide out of the bed one time. And I was like, I guess I should back up and clarify that. A fall is you unintentionally making contact with the ground. It could be you sliding out of the bed, or maybe you're getting up from the couch, and you fall down onto the floor. But Falls look different. It doesn't mean you're walking and then you make impact with the ground. It can look different, right? So, and hopefully you all don't know from personal experience, but a bad fall can mean a call to the emergency room. It can mean a hospital stay. It can mean surgery. So doing everything you can to prevent it from happening is what I care the most about. It's about being proactive, and that's the purpose of the HUD grant too, is a lot of people think I'm good right now. And what I truthfully want to say to them is, I don't really care about today. I want to talk about 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, hopefully 20 years from now, and what things are going to look like for you, and how they're going to inevitably look different, right? No matter how healthy you stay, how blessed you are, inevitably there are things that will start to happen that you can be proactive about instead of being reactive to. So talking with your healthcare provider about medication side effects, dizziness is a big thing that causes falls. And again, that can be just in the shower, I turned off the steaming hot shower and then stepped out into a cold bathroom and it caused a fall. But medication side effects, making your home safer by using night lights, grab bars in the bathrooms, and securing carpet to the floors. I'm repeating myself now because I do think these are easy, small things that can make a really big difference. Standing up slowly to avoid dizziness is a big one. Using a cane or walker if you need more stability. I kind of want to talk about this a little bit with y'all because I feel like you're my friends in this small group. I think there are a lot of folks that see mobility aids as a failure, or you admitting that you've reached a place in your life where you need that. But anytime I see someone using a mobility aid, I honestly think to myself, like, that's a smart person. That's someone who is thinking ahead. And it's better to use them before you might need them than to wait until you have something happen where you're not going to be using something like a cane or a rollator. You might need to be in a wheelchair for a little while and then graduate to those things. So I was in Scotland recently and I saw so many people using canes and walkers and things like out and about. I was just like, why doesn't it look like this in America? So I just think it's curious. I think there's a little bit of a stigma with someone saying, I use a cane or I use a walker. It's just a tool. That's all that it is. Like with a lot of these home mods, these aren't, big drastic changes. It's just a tool in your toolbox to help keep you as safe as possible. Strength and balance exercises. I almost didn't use this image because I know that people are told, do your Tai Chi, and if you've had a physical therapist before and they're like, did you do all your exercises today? Did you do all your exercises today? It's not something people love to do, but staying active will definitely help keep you safe and prevent falls. Here's my contact info. You can take my business card today if you want to talk about any more of this at any time. You can also just call the Disability Resource Center. I'm home mod person there, so you can say, I want to talk about home mods, and they will transfer you right to me. But again, anything disability related, anything resource related, call us anytime. We want to talk to folks in our community. And I do hope that you will help me spread the good word that aging into disability also means you can call us. You don't have to be someone that identifies as having a disability or, call me anyways. So if you think you might be eligible, if you're interested in learning more, the older adult home modification, as well as the Virginia Housing Grant, you're not committing to anything. We can talk about it. We can come out and do that home safety assessment. The decision making is yours. It's your house. It's your life. We just want to help make it as good as we can for you. Yes, ma'am.
So if you don't, you're not approved under the program guidelines, then what else is there available, or how else can we use your program?
The Disability Resource Center, nothing specific from us. Essentially, if you're over those income limits, you can have, our occupational therapist has a private business where she does aging in place and does home mods with people. You gotta pay out of pocket for it though. So, but I have referred a lot of people to other organizations, or I shouldn't say organization, businesses that you can pay to come do these things. So Folks like myself, I'm a certified aging in place specialist, someone like that, or an occupational therapist. Those are your best bets to have somebody come out and help you figure out what to do to make your home safer. And again, encouraging you to be proactive. Try not to think just about today, but about down the road and what things might look like for you. And yeah, when you go home, I encourage you, look at the pathways in your house, the thresholds in between your rooms and stuff. Even a little lip. If you're walking through your hallway at night, not paying as much attention as you usually do, that's a fall right there. So, and I talked with a Lake of the Woods resident earlier this morning. Her name is Arlene. She said I could name drop her. Arlene is one of the few older adults I've met who actually has a Google Home or an Alexa at her house. A lot of folks are like, the technology stuff, I don't have one. It makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't love it. But she had a life alert. She lives alone, and she'd had a life alert, and she'd fallen before, and it didn't work when she needed it to. But when she recently had a fall, she was able to say, hey, Alexa, call Charlie, call my son. And he was there within a couple of minutes and was able to tell her, yeah, this is a call. This is an emergency call. Like, this is not, I can't just pick you up off the floor this time. We got to call somebody. But those home devices we can do with this program too. Anything that's related to safety. So especially if you live alone, these are important things to think about. I'm like 40, by the way, and I still remember the commercial growing up of the I've fallen and I can't get up. It's real life. It's also something you can literally do now, say out loud, I have fallen and I can't get up, and something will call the person that you need. It doesn't mean you have to call 911. It doesn't have to be connected to the emergency services. It can be to a neighbor or a family member or someone that you can call and say, I've fallen and I can't get up. I still remember that commercial. It's really stuck with me, and it happens.
They're still using it.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. It's in the AARP magazine.
I need to subscribe to that. I think I want to be in the know these days too. But another thing, while I'm thinking about it, does anyone live by themselves? I've lived by myself for a long time too, not recently, and I thought about this stuff all the time, like what would happen if something happened to me, and like I don't have people that check on me every day, right? If falling and getting up could be difficult for you, our occupational therapist just recommended to one of our participants, it's this device that you can, if you're crawling, because I know it happens to a lot of people where you gotta crawl over to get your cell phone or get whatever it is, it's a chair that you can move over on it, scooch on top of it, and it'll lift you up. It's like $200 or something. It's like super cheap. And again, the question is like, what happens if I fall upstairs and the thing is downstairs? Like, it's not going to do me a lot of good. That's true. But for specific areas of your home where maybe you're more at risk of falling. So anyways, there are a lot of different products out there that I'm still getting familiar with too.
Do you have contact lists for contractors that specify in home modification?
That is such a good question. I would like to ask the same question of you all, because they are not as easy to find as you would think. We have a list of contractors that we provide to our folks that are looking to apply for the Virginia housing grants. Mm-hmm. Some of those contractors are pretty high dollar, if I'm being honest with you. We do know of a couple of them that will help specifically with aging in place. All American Mobility is one I want to name drop because they have worked with us for many years on these home mod grants, and they do wonderful walk-in showers, can put grab bars in for you, stair lifts, vertical person lifts, all kinds of things. So we have a couple of just general contractors that aren't specific to aging in place, but know how to do the work. So sometimes it is knowing about what specifically to ask for, which is where the expertise of an occupational therapist is, they are worth their weight in gold, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering, I don't know if it's a question for you but for someone in the room.
Yeah.
If you want to get your home modified, does the contractor have to be licensed for Orange County? I'm asking because I come from Fairfax County, and I know that the county gets very much involved in that as far as taxation, the value of your home, and and then safety features, that kind of thing.
Sure, sure. I don't think we're as picky as the Northern Virginia folks, if I'm being honest with you. Our contractors, it's up to them where their service area is. Their license is with the state. But we do, both of the programs we work on, they have to be licensed and insured. But neither of those things are specific to the county that they're serving. It is harder as you get out into rural areas to find contractors like from Fredericksburg that are willing to drive an hour or so away to help do these things. But they're out there, just not as easy to find. That's a great question. Part of specifically the Virginia Housing Grant, if there are building permits that are required and things like that, it's up to the contractor to make sure that those pieces are in place. But we can help navigate that stuff too. That's a great question. I haven't had that one before. Thank you all so much for your time. If you think of anything after today or ever want to talk about aging in place or home mods, I'm your girl. Appreciate your time.
Does LOWLINC still have their provider list?
We do.
Okay, you want to tell them about it just a little bit, or?
Well, it's in the reworks right now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we have a list, we're trying to.
I sense some
But
hesitation.
it's kind of, people have to tell us specifically, we either take them as, they've been referred to us, and we've called the Better Business, we've done our somewhat checking on them, it's not a deep dive, but a small dive, and then we have them in our database, so when a member calls, and said, like, the things that we don't do, like I need a plumber, then we would pull up our plumber list and send them the list of who we have as a plumber. But as far as home modifications, I know we have some handymen that do some stuff, but I don't think we have anybody specific.
I know you're always my first call when I need somebody, because I know that the people, that members or volunteers have most likely used them, and
Yeah, my
You
snow
have some
vendor list
background,
went to be this long last week. I mean, it was so much. I just wanted to say also, I visited friends in a new house in South Carolina last year, and they bought what they called the guy called it a forever home. And it's just regular looking houses and a regular beautiful subdivision, but everything in the house is at one level. I mean, their sidewalk goes straight up to the door, there's not a lip, there's not nothing, no thresholds, all the way out to the garage. I mean, it's all
True one level.
true one level,
Yeah.
and all the doors were wider, toilets taller, sink, the cabinets tall, everything that this builder's doing is to be ready for that, which I thought it was just awesome. Oh, and electronically, it's a smart home,
Yeah.
besides all that.
No, that's huge. I'm very happy to hear those exist because they're hard to find, and I haven't come by
and
any
I
that I've
thought, oh my
visited
God,
yet.
why don't we have a neighborhood like that around here?
Well, and
I
it's
would-
aesthetically, why wouldn't everyone be thinking about these things when they're building homes, right? And I think part of it is cost, part of it is like, oh, well, we've always done it this way, that's just what you do, but
Can't be that much to change these
It's
plans.
not.
I mean, and this neighborhood was like stunning and different floor plans, and it was just amazing
Yeah.
what they've done.
No, I do, our occupational therapist works with folks that are building new homes, and that's again where her expertise comes in, where it's like, so here's your building plans as they stand, here are the dozens of places where you can make little tweaks that'll make a big difference in the long run,
How to get a
And
wheelchair down a hallway
Yep.
or into the door.
Yep.
I mean, it was so many things, it was amazing.
having bathrooms accessible for
Yeah.
more than one person to be in them at once is another thing a lot of people don't think about. If you ever need assistance with
Yeah.
any of those things, a lot of people think does anyone have one of those walk-in tubs? Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
You've seen them, right?
Yeah.
And they're advertised to older adults. It's just like, oh, you still love taking a bath, but don't want to step over the lip of a tub. The more I've looked into those, you could fall off the seat in there and get stuck because the door opens inward and nobody can get in there to help you.
Yes.
It's just like, it sounds like a great idea, but in practice, it's like, oof, it's just a recipe for disaster if you
I
ask
always
me.
think of how much water do you need
Yeah.
to put in the
Yeah.
tub?
Well, my other thing that, am I
freeze while you're waiting
Yeah.
for that.
Is
tub
I was gonna
fill.
say, is the camera still on? Because you're sitting there naked, waiting for the water to fill up. It's like, that doesn't sound like a positive
No.
experience.
Doesn't
So,
work, yeah.
I know walk-in showers are an adjustment for folks, but they can look really slick and really serve you for your full lifetime. So yeah, don't do a walk-in tub. The people that sell those things are gonna come after me one of these days because I'm preaching about it a lot. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it.